Hey, hello. I'm here. This time I tested all of my shit beforehand, so I won't accidentally turn off the stream while I'm fiddling with my monitors. Yeah, maybe knock on wood. uh, so just to give like a quick tour of what's going on my sprite sheet, I tried to make this really compact, like I'd seen other sprite sheets do, but while I was working with it, it kept like bleeding over. You can see like while I was like naturally flatting in my colors in Blender itself, there's just a lot of this like annoying bleed through, which is fine because like I can manually fix it now. But I couldn't get it to automatically pack things tighter than this like I wanted. And also packing them tight was causing issues while I was doing in my flat colors. And then it's a little bit disorganized. I wish I'd done it a little bit better, but here is like the wing texture. This all is the hair. These are like the bang area. This right here we've got, that's the upper chest. I might actually need to make this bigger now that I look at it. Um to like get that mesh pattern. But worst comes to worst, I could just move this like over here. Let's see what else I'm dealing with. This is the back of the jacket. This right here is the boots, arm, and this might. No, I think this is. I might have to pull my model up on my other monitor just to like really figure out where I'm at. But I mean, at this point, it's kind of just about getting basic shading in. But let me just save some time before I start floundering around with this and just actually pull up Blender. And it'll honestly be a bad idea just to try to put them both on my little monitor, but I'll flip between them probably. Let's see. Yeah, because I think like in terms of like me trying to figure this out, it's what's the word? The way to make like really clean textures for like low res, low poly models like this would be to figure out your sprite sheet first and then like conform the model faces to that sheet. But I did not do that. So I'm kind of just going to be flying blind a little bit. But that's all right. Oh, you know what I meant to do? I meant to put the shading for my hair over my face while I was still in Blender. I can probably just update this really fast though. Yeah, we'll pull this down here. Make sure I'm in texture paint. I can actually see something else falling down here too, because I can. What is the resolution look like if I start like cross hatching here? That's honestly not terrible. I think it is deforming a little bit just directly in the center, but I can fix that with the UVs. So I'm not super worried about resolution on this part. A little bit. Actually, it doesn't need to be super big difference. Just need to draw this edge here without like actually getting myself on the object. And then it just kind of runs right into where like the bangs are. Or those aren't really bangs. Those are my little side tailies, whatever we want to end up calling those. Dude, Blender is honestly like so bad for texture painting at all. Like even just like blocking stuff in is kind of a nightmare to deal with. But this is that is at least a start. And I think I'm just gonna end up sharpening this up a little bit before I actually like export it back out. I do want to get into maybe some 3D sculpting at some point too, just because it does look really fun, especially like when you're messing with it on a tablet. But that is an adventure for another day, I think. I don't need the shadow to extend out super duper far. Especially because, like, while I'm rotating it in different angles. Should really be justifying it to the front side, though, for sure. That's where I need to, like, really be prioritizing it. Like, looking its best. Oops. Actually, I wonder if I want to, like, dither this out a little bit as well. Just, like, playing in the style a little bit. But maybe I'll just stick a little bit closer to, like, my style guide, which is Mega Man X textures for the moment. Which, like, I know everyone who's, like, into 3D art is always like, oh my god, Mega Man X, or not Mega Man X, Mega Man Legends. But, I mean, it does hold up, and it is, like, I mean, it's anime pixel art. Like, you can't really get much more, like, what I'm going for than exactly that. That's not bad. We'll refine it as we. Right, Blender, you can go away for just a moment. I swear my files like usually aren't all over the place like this. It's just because I have to switch like my monitors around really aggressively to make the system work. And then just all of my files just get thrown everywhere. But they all go back to normal once I like set my monitors back up the way they're at least meant to be. That would do it, wouldn't it? You down. Don't need two copies of any of these. Don't even know how that happened. Let's me pull you back up here. Also, as far as like little projects go, because frankly, I've been like doing a lot of little projects to avoid doing big projects. You know, we love that move. But I made a little mini reactive image out of You might have seen it before, the little Binding of Isaac version of me that I made. I can actually just pull that up. I made it into a reactive image on Discord. So like this is the default, and then this will be whenever I shut up. So I'll just swap between these two images and like make it look like it's talking. And I decided to do that over looking up better UVs. That's his life, though. And I might actually have to buy that USB hub because I'm already struggling to like figure out exactly what I'm doing with just my two monitors. Oh, this is just the side of the face. Oh, you know what? I guess I would have to. I guess I would have to texture the side of the face with this as well because of my little side bangs. All right, back into Blender. We're not out of the Blender gulag yet, boys. Sorry. Wrong color. Actually, I don't need it that far back. And I know some of these tones are really inconsistent throughout. That's just because I made the mistake of color picking off of the model instead of off of the sheet and my color kit. But I'll make sure everything is like proper to like my color kit just as I go through everything. I actually think I do need to adjust my color kit just a little bit as well. Just to like make my complementary colors like a little bit nicer. I want to make sure that all of my browns have like a slight blue tone to them to make the orange pop. And same thing with like the blacks. Like you can see like black has like a slight blue tone on my model. Same with like the grays. And then like my white has like a very slight like orangey tone to it. I think it kind of got washed out as I was working on it, but I'll do a little bit more there. I might lighten up the shadows on the pants a little bit as well. Oh, I'm painting the wrong side of it because this is upside down. Because I had rotation on when I made this, and I should probably just put rotation off, frankly. But I was thinking about packing them tighter and not about how my tiny, tiny brain was going to read all of this. Symmetrically. At least I have the UVs decently set up to the point where like it understands where like symmetry should be. Where I can kind of what's the word like I have like two sets of faces in this area that are all using the same that are all reading the same part of the texture. So it's pretty easy to like get what I need. Are you weird? You're not weird. You just don't. That's like good enough to ship for now. I can get lost in the oh, I need to do one pixel to the left. I could do that all day. And if I wasn't streaming, probably would do that. But I'm going to be a little bit better than that. Perfect is the enemy of good. Always gotta remember. There we go. That at least makes some sense. Yeah, face shadow implying the position of the nose, which is I think why like my face looks like a little weird. That and I think there's like a slight bit of like reflective texture on the material I used, but it shouldn't have that when I'm like texture baking. So this should solve quite a bit just on its own. The wing is going to be the fun part here, though. And I think I need dopamine. Because I really like how, not to like jerk myself off too much, I do like how I did the wing gradient on my little Isaac model. So I'm going to take some notes from myself. I love getting to plagiarize my own work. I almost decided not to stream tonight just to help everyone figure out the server issues for like our Minecraft server. But I'm just the modder. I don't know the server shit. That's Mana's deal. How am I wanting to set you up? Like this? Exactly like that. Oh yeah, Krita's not cool enough to let me color pick from outside of the image. I'll just import this in actually. 'Cause I know all the colors on my Isaac model are color picked from my color kit anyways. So let's just cut out the middleman a little bit. I'll pop you in. Let's pop you in as another document. Make it slightly easier. I really need to do quite a bit of work on the word. Oh yeah, I need to do a lot of work with like facial expressions. Like a lot of work. I also need to like set up pen my pen short keys because I had them set up very nicely at some point so that like it worked with my workflow really well. But I do not remember what I was doing. Guy, I think I've got this guy. That was mostly just to tell me what was top and what was bottom. Whoops. God, I really need a third monitor set up. Doing art on two monitors and streaming is rough because I have 7 bajillion programs open. Let me pull up a real reference image for a bat wing, just so I can get like how much each of these needs to like pull back, because I think I'm doing it a little bit too severe. So taper back. Probably a little bit like this. Just because on this part of the model, I realized that this right here is kind of stretched. But, you know, we're not gonna make it perfect tonight. Yeah. That should kinda, this is the part that tapers into the tail, so it should kinda pull in a little. So you know, I'm trying not to fall into my tendency to make things a little bit too perfect. I've never had anyone say like, "Oh, your art looks like AI" or anything like that, but I do have a tendency to over perfect a little bit, and it just like it takes a lot of personality out of a piece. Yeah, I don't want to. This gets really sharp because this is the wing tip. I do think this part here should be longer, but you know we're kind of where we're at, so that's you know eventually there's going to be a V2 to all of this. So getting too perfect now, this is the learning process, and I need to not like get up my own ass too much about it. I'm also gonna have to like make a different material and set it to there's some setting I need to do with normals so that I can have two materials across one face, because I'll need to make the back of the wings brown. But like it doesn't really matter, because like you're not going to be seeing me from the back very often, if at all. So that's definitely kind of just like a later problem. really does just take every little bit of my brain. Not even really like at the hard part right now. Oops. Yeah, at some point I really am just gonna have to go with. I'm really just gonna have to go through and like correct all these colors kind of at once. I think so. This is maybe. So maybe I need to bring it down quite a bit. I want like a perfect circle here that kind of like lines up with the point where all of my the wing fingers like converge like right on the wrist the wings. It's just gonna be kind of figuring out just how much that I want. And then I'll probably end up pulling it a little bit out this way. Something like that. And then, well, I'm not really gonna like actually, no, I don't think I'm gonna use dithering on this model. I think I am gonna use like a mid-tone. Just kind of. Like that. That's orange isn't quite as like aggressive as it was. Maybe I dial back into this tone. Oh, I'm starting to like. I'm starting to like it. I'm starting to like some of the shaping. Okay. Dude, I'm so far below my mic because I keep like wanting to be like way up close to the art, and I'm almost certain that like it's making my voice sound worse because I'm like talking directly into my art tablet, and I bet you that it's like creating a little bit of reverb. I am now out of sour gummies. Sad. I put my bangs backwards on this. It's supposed to be like this. Let me pull up my Mongo as well. Just to see, just to make sure that like his design is consistent with like what I'm doing with my hair. Because I kind of want to not have the exact same gradient, but I want them to kind of parody off of each other a little bit. I think it'll just make us look like a little bit more of like a cohesive pair. I guess Mongo is kind of just like the gradient for my wings. So let's just see what happens if I like invert him. Get inverted, idiot. I will flip his colors back to where they were, though. I think he just looks a little better with the darker on top. It kind of gives him that little like raccoon bandit mask type of look. It wasn't intentional, but it's definitely something that I enjoy. It also helps with like the him looking bald issue we were having for a bit there. I guess I would also give him the same pattern in his wings that I have. Oh, that's Mongo time. Mongo time's gonna be later. Mongo had his stream. Hmm. Guess I'll probably like just taper this off just very slightly as well. Just breaking up that perfection a little bit. For a lot of this, I'm kind of just trying to like let it ride a little bit more, just have it be a little bit more natural, free flowing, using less, oops, using less of like the tools. I'll use like some of these like shape tools later, I'm sure, but I'm trying not to like rely on them too hard. Because again, they can just end up making stuff look boring in the long term. Let's do this kind of based off of vibes in some spots. And if the vibe doesn't work, I can always adjust a little bit more later. It's not like I have like a deadline for this, you know? Like I thought about like, oh, I need to have my model done by my birthday to like ensure I'm taking it seriously. I need to like define an exact like time frame. But I don't know. I need to like make sure I'm keeping stuff fun for me. That's really what this is about. Like I want to take it seriously. You know, I do want to like build a bit of a like a genuine community here. But you know, I have other stuff going on in life and I don't necessarily need to like be going super crazy on anything in particular. I guess it's all just to say like it's not worth driving myself crazy for. So I've definitely like sat here and driven myself crazy over this before. And it's, you know, it doesn't have to be that deep. Do I feel the need to make these perfect diamonds? Or is it okay for them to be lumpy? I do want to pay a little bit of attention to the ones in the middle, because those ones are going to get mirrored and they can end up looking a little funky if I don't like give them a little extra attention. I get a little cute with it and try to hide like a little heart in this. I also want like for the back of my pant, or for like where the this like mesh top, like the back of this mesh top where like my tail has to come out of, I do want to put like a little heart back there too, just for fun. Because I ended up doing that by accident while I was like just figuring all of this out. And I just think little things like that are, they're just cute and they're fun and they keep my attention at the very least. No, I don't need to line. I don't need to do like an outline like this because you would just assume the pattern would continue behind the shirt. I might do one up here just to like close off these diamonds, just because that's where the pattern would naturally end up. Like I feel like they would just naturally close off there, but like this one's a little wonky. Like we would assume that like this would just continue like this or like this. Yeah, I think that's all right. Like I do want to give some prominence to this because it's kind of, let's just say it's in prime real estate, but um, I don't need to go like super nutty with it either. It's fine for it to be a little borked. Yeah, this is what I mean with like giving things like just this slight like blue tone, because it just makes the other stuff up that little bit more. Let's try like a nice even 33% instead of just like using black and gray all the time. Just gives it a little bit more personality. As you can see, like this is kind of giving, I just bring it to the color wheel, it should, it's still like vibing in orange, but it's like this nice, very cool orange. And it's like just such a nice like mid-tone between all these like other pretty harsh tones that I've got going on. Like it's a little break for the eyes. That's very nice. Okay. Where am I? Let's save real fast. Let's just start there. And then I'm going to put my feet up for just a minute while I kind of just absorb what I've got going on. There is quite a bit happening on my many, many screens. Yeah, even my guinea pig looks like tired of talking, or like tired of me yapping. Let me perhaps get a snack, or snack part two, just to help my brain a little bit. Because one thing I've got to realize with this is like pretty much no matter what texturing I put on this, it will look better than just the flat colors I've got now. Flat colors I have right now kind of suck butt. So like any detail I'm adding at all is like a huge step forward, even if it's a little jank. Yeah, there's quite a bit of mental load that just like goes into art. especially because like Blender just requires you to have quite a bit of like just technical skill to really get anything across. Which is fine. Like I have all that technical skill. It's just a matter of like applying it one after another, thing after thing after thing. Yeah, I think I need a little protein. I'm just going to. You know what? I don't have a be back soon screen. That was on my list of shit to do. I'm just gonna throw you back on my starting soon screen while I go make some chicken nuggets. I will be back maybe 5-10 minutes tops. Let's have music in my brain now. So that is gonna. My mic is far away. Hi. Yeah, I've got music in my brain now, so I should be able to focus just slightly better. See, I was sitting here like, oh man, how do I like put Spotify on my computer so that I can focus and not have it come up on stream? And then I thought, hey, you can plug in your headphones to your fucking phone that's sitting right next to you, and then there's like no risk of cross contamination. So, you know, I think the chicken nuggets are working to make my brain a little bit more on it. It's protein, I'm telling you. Where is my pen? Oh, here it is. Yeah, black pen, black mouse mat. Good combo. This is why I started buying everything I own in bright red, so that it like doesn't just like blend into everything else in the world. All right. All right. Oops. See, that's the thing. I also everything in my house is like green and pink, green and pink, green and pink. Or green, pink, gray is like the color palette I determined everything has to be when I first moved out of my house. Ban yourself right now. Um, but yeah, like when I first moved out of my house, I was like, everything has to be mint green, pastel pink, and like light gray. And I still have like I still have my same rug. I have my same bed comforter that like perfectly match each other. Hello. Um, I am working on texture painting for my model, which you see in the bottom of the screen. Well, what I've got going on right now is like 99% just flat colors through materials in Blender. The only thing that's like drawn on is the face. And this is just me trying to like add some basic like shadow and light effects and details in that like I can't quite get through just flat colors. I'm just gonna refine out the shape a little bit more, and then I'm gonna add these kind of like the fingers of the wing, the wingers, if you will, that you can see like over here on the this little Binding of Isaac model that I made a little while ago. But I just mostly have it up right now for the sake of like color picking because I know that everything on it is directly from my color kit. All right. What's the right color? Yeah. Yeah, I've got a bunch of like inconsistent skin tones on like my current version of the model that's got like my flat colors in because I kept making the mistake of color picking from the model instead of from my sheet. So like shadows were like getting mixed up into it. So I've got like all these like very slightly inconsistent tones that I've got to fix like while I'm going through here. I think I'm just like strayed away from my color kit a little bit too, and everything's kind of been slowly getting more and more washed out. All right, I'm mostly just blocking out. It doesn't have to be perfect. And imperfections is going to make it look more interesting. If you over perfect it, it's going to look like AI bullshit. Oops. I really need to like get that HDMI hub so badly because trying to have like my 7 billion programs on one monitor and a drawing tablet is a fucking nightmare. Absolutely. Cody, are you just like trying to rebel against me? I feel like it's a little bit early in my career to have like a full like plan to usurp me. What direction am I working in? That's the wing. That's so my tail's like here, and then this is the wrist. So, so this one. Hmm. See, this is the problem with like I haven't done a lot of texture painting ever, and like texture painting within Blender itself is a total nightmare. So I'm kind of flying blind a little bit in a lot of respects. There we go. So I'm just kind of like vibing out what it's gonna actually end up looking good, and then I'm definitely gonna have to like go over it once I actually bring it into Blender. So first finger curls down, second finger curls down, pinky comes back. I think this one does just basically have to go like straight down, just like womp. And let's just imply a little bit of like the darker webbing that would exist around here, because this right here is like more musculature, while all of this is skin flaps, which is why I'm kind of lighting it like this. I'm going under the assumption that like I'm basically backlit. Like the way I'm lighting this character is that I've got a light 3/4 like above my head shining down, and then like a backlight shining just kind of in like a halo behind me. Just to give it a little bit of that like visual intrigue where I can like add a lot of detail in. That will just make it look a little bit more interesting than if I, again, dealing with like flat lighting. I think that's going to be all right for the wing. And if I perfect it too much and then I throw it on the model and it just like looks winky wonky, then I'm going to feel really silly for spending a ton of time on it. I'm flying blind says the bat who's not wearing glasses and is also like literally 2 inches away from a drawing tablet. Oh. Hmm. So bringing up, oh, that's the wrong tab. My one of my 7 billion tabs. I think I want to continue this like these bangs right here by like bringing this like outline, like bringing this bit of shading around the entire head, especially because I'm going from light to dark. It's kind of implying shadow a little bit, but not really shadow. Hmm. But it might look good. I guess like what would happen if I just sat here and outlined this entire texture. What does that look like? Why my opacity screwing on here? I haven't changed my opacity in this program. Oh. So, regardless, the center seam here, I think it's just the seam I used in the middle of my head to like mirror it. I think if I follow this along, this should be around the edges here. So that's the center. Oh, okay, so that's the back of my head. Note to self, do not let the UVs rotate when you're assigning them, because they make it a nightmare to figure out where everything is. Learned for next time. And so that's like this center scene. I think I wrapped this weird. And this stream boot bot really goes nuts. I get like at least one every stream. This. Yeah. It's just these first two. I don't want to like line the whole hair. Let me also pull up my Mega Man Legends texture. Because I think they only two-tone the hair, which is about what I would expect. They have a highlight for certain sections. But the main bulk of it is just that two-tone. So I guess I would want to line around a little bit. First two. And 'Cause this is the center seam. Doing that's also a center seam. Just this edge is that edge. Yeah. And this part's here for some reason because I wrapped it weird. And this part, I think it's just this. Up to here. And alright. Huh? This, and we'll go up to here. This is a decent guesstimation of where I'm going. It's my midtone. Yes. Maybe I actually just want to do the midtone for the whole hair and then just use the light as this highlight color. So where would I expect highlights to fall? I guess I would expect it right at the front here. That's my paint bucket. I don't think... Let me move this shit for a bit. I'm not on the right opacity. That'll do it. Okay. So maybe I'll just do like a little half moon up here. Like about like that. Maybe not quite like that. Maybe like a boop. Yeah, like a little ring. And kind of like just around this little poke. Do I want to make this little poke like lighter? Hmm. And maybe I actually do a light tone like down the middle a little bit. which would be along here. So what is this? So that's general, this like center bit. And I wouldn't expect it to go down that far because of where the light is, it would be just catching the top. So about where like the spiral of the hair would be is about where we would stop. Are you falling asleep at the wheel? Oh, so I'm gonna use my highlight tone around here. And then I think along here. Looking at this. I'm sure anyone who knows what they're doing with Blender would just be absolutely screwed this. Because this is absolutely. Oh, I see. Well, I guess I would also expect the highlight there, so I guess I would just run this line down the whole way like this. And that's that center strip. Let's pull this off for a second. So pull this up like this. Then I guess I kind of just want to follow. Oops. So we'll. That's weird. Lighter tone. I don't know. Let's just go up to this corner. I want to do like this. And I can kind of refine the shape out a little bit more. Fatten it up a little bit. Then I can taper it in on the sides just a tiny bit. And really kind of get like a crescent shape out of it. too perfect with it because we're gonna have to fuck with it more later. That looks fun. Okay. It's one of those moments where I'm glad I'm never gonna stream with a camera because I'm just moving around so much. Like I really put this boom arm through its paces with just how much I'm having to adjust it constantly. All right. I'm starting to think that maybe I should take like a full hour in between me being at work and me streaming just to like decompress a little bit more. And I think it comes with the benefit. Just take the boom arm to a motion tracking gimbal. That sounds really fun, actually. But I feel like I just need a little bit more time to switch gears, and then I could do like a vocal warm up somewhere in that, and it might come with the added benefit that I might be able to stick around a little bit later. Because I kind of want to break into a slightly later time frame just for the sake of getting a little bit more. So I just get like a little bit more discoverability out of it. Ba, 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 ba. I think I was peeking my mic just very slightly for a second. So let's maybe turn this down just a tiny bit. Yeah, I just yeah. Yeah, I've been streaming right after work for a bit. And it's when I was streaming like in the middle of the day before one, that's just like a hard time to like get anything out of. And it was kind of getting in the way of my ability to do chores properly because I was like, oh, I can't do anything beforehand because I'm streaming, and then I wait till after, and then it's like I'm tired from streaming. Um, but I can like with this, I can kind of break into that like late night niche streamer type of time, and I'll also it's like a nice easy time for me to be sat here. Like I don't really have any kind of like time limit associated with this. Oopsies. It's been a long time since I've just like really sat down and just kind of like fucked around with art instead of like being really precise with it. I can't even remember the last time I've like brought out this art tablet. Wait, it's too. It doesn't matter. The inner part has to be pink anyways, so it would have to be. These parts would just be fur. It'd be These four we need to have like a nice pink color. I don't have good pink tone. Actually, I think I might have just nailed it by accident right now. So I'm just gonna take it. Oopsies. I wonder if I just do straight line on here, if it'll just interpret it to like a curve on its own. Probably just yeah. Maybe I'll actually like get this. I think I like the idea. Not sure. I'll play with it. That's definitely one where I'm just gonna have to like see how it looks. I might also just end up skipping. Yeah, I might end up like skipping out on the dithering in general here, but we'll see how it ends up. And I'm not sure if I want to deal with like these clothing shadows right now. I might just end up. Let's have a little fun with it. Let's see how this looks right now. That's pretty fun, actually. This guy's pretty fucked up, actually. So he might come in. Yeah, so we'll just tame this blue part out for like this nice queen again. I have no idea why the opacity is weird on this. I have it set to 100 strength. Oh well. Hopefully next time I boot up Blender, it's just not like that anymore. Because sometimes Blender just kind of be like that. Yeah, that was a cute idea, but I think dithering it there just kind of shows how bad my UV wrap is, and I should just like let it alone. See how the wings are working. They're half decent. Obviously, I need to turn on transparency, but I think if I just like refine these shapes out more, we're we're in business. By a bit more, I mean there's still quite a bit to do, but I'm okay with quite a bit to do because I have a direction. It's gonna take a lot of me just kind of staring at this and fiddling with like a single pixel at a time. But I think I'm good with that. We'll fuck with it a little bit more later. Oh, you know what? The neck's up here. That's why I worked it up a little. Yeah. We'll just not save that because I really thoroughly worked it, which was by intention, or at least accounted for, let's call it. But yeah, I think I've kind of pushed art brain pretty far, and it might just be time to go to bed. Which isn't like, I do want to build up streaming stamina, and I think I could sit here and, but this is like hard. Shit's hard. Oh, you know what? I didn't even look at how the hair turned out. Oh well, we're kind of past that point, I think. I should probably bake in a little bit of that backlighting around the chin as well, kind of like my Mega Man stuff has. Like around the side where the bangs are longer. That might give it a little bit more dynamicness, whatever. Uh, because like at this point it's kind of just like the boring shit of just like the shadow of my boobs and like the shadow of the back, and probably changing the tone of the pants shadow because it looks a little bit like pants pissing and not quite like just natural shading. Yeah. There's nothing like too insane that I have to do anymore, and then I can just like re-export it and hopefully I think I've done a little bit of flipping normals and I've done a little bit of like reapplying transforms. So like the issue with like my hips kind of like flying away from myself should already be fixed. Like I shouldn't have to do anything more with it. So I should have expressions are gonna take a while. I might just do that off stream. Might do that tomorrow. I have like nothing to do tomorrow. I'm probably gonna end up just riding my bike for fun, doing my laundry, and then sitting around fucking with this for the rest of the day. Oh yeah, I need to fix the Minecraft server probably also. I mean, fix the Minecraft server might be a little generous for my skills, but I can fuck with it. And sometimes me fucking with stuff makes it work good. So we'll see. It might be about goodbye time. Uh, but yeah, I'm pretty proud of where I got for just like really struggling with UVs like the last time I streamed this to like kind of understanding where everything's at and at least like to the point where I can get something functional. Like it's not gonna be hard to do better than just my flat colors. So if I get better, I'll call it there. And then I can probably start either Mongo or maybe just making some Pokemon 3D models, which might just be easier where I can just make my sprite sheet first. Sprite sheet. I could make my texture first and then like conform my model around it. And that might just be like make like a nice cleaner look, especially if I want to make what's the word? if I want to make like some content for Instagram, which might be nice to do time lapses and things like that. Oh, you know what? That's really embarrassing. I had my chat paused because I scrolled a little. Let me catch up a little bit. Streaming on Wednesday isn't a bad idea. Actually, just while I'm at it, uh, I know Kurt went to bed already, but I will look at Melted's streaming schedule real fast because, like, at the very least, like betting on him rating me is like crazy, and like I wouldn't expect that at all. Uh, but I could get Mana to like he's already in mod mode at that point because he mods for Melted Dev. So I could just keep him like have my mod like just hanging out. Not a bad idea to stream right after. Wednesday at 5? That's not bad. Starting at like 5? I could start at 5 or 6 on a Wednesday. And Kurt, and then Mana can just go straight from Melted stream right into my stream. That works for his schedule. That works for my schedule because I'm not really doing anything Wednesday evenings. I was flirting with the idea of doing art streams specifically on Wednesdays because I should have more bandwidth for it because I'm not dealing with like after work stuff. Like today, I was just like feeling kind of inspired's the wrong word, spiteful towards UV mapping. And I just wanted to like make it work. That's not a bad idea. Let me put that in my notes real fast, just so I don't like lose it mentally. By the way, as we're winding down here, I am just fixing my monitor setup again because my god, I have to like really fuck my shit up what to like make anything work. Okay. There we go. Alright. That's goodbye for the night. Now that I've kind of like sat on that idea. That is not a bad idea. Cool. Sorry, I'm chewing on my thing again. You know what? Nobody tell Mana, but like he said, oh, those chewing things come in a pack of 6 because you're gonna be biting them so hard and so often they're gonna start falling apart. The one I have is already starting to fall apart. It's barely been a week. I'm so angry that he clocked me like that. I'm so mad. But like, it's either that or chewing up every pen I own, and I'm getting a little sick of those breaking. Anyways, bye. I'm gonna show you guys the ending screen that I made on stream a little while ago. It lets you chat on it, so if anyone is still here, you can yap to each other while I'm finishing up here. Bye bye.